When you chase someone, particularly in the realm of relationships, you inadvertently place them on a pedestal while diminishing your own worth. This isn't about blame or criticism, it's about recognizing a pattern that subtly erodes your sense of self and shifts the balance of power in any interaction. The act of chasing creates a dynamic where you are constantly in pursuit, working tirelessly to gain approval or affection, while the other person holds the position of decision maker. This is not a position of empowerment, it's a position of dependency. I think about it: when you chase, you expend an enormous amount of energy trying to win someone over. This energy is often fueled by insecurity, fear of loss, or a need for validation. The problem is, the harder you chase, the more you signal to the other person and to yourself that they are more valuable than you. This creates a psychological imbalance. You're not just trying to attract someone, you're telling yourself that your happiness, your fulfillment, your sense of self-worth hinges on their acceptance or presence in your life. That's a heavy burden to place on another person, and it's an even heavier burden to carry within yourself. True self-worth cannot coexist with the act of chasing. Why? Because self-worth is rooted in the understanding that you are enough as you are. It's the quiet confidence that doesn't need to scream for attention or prove its value. When you know your worth, you don't feel compelled to chase anyone or anything. Instead, you become the kind of person who naturally draws others in. There's a magnetic quality to self-assuredness. People are instinctively drawn to those who carry themselves with poise, confidence, and a sense of purpose. They sense the absence of desperation and are intrigued by the quiet strength of someone who doesn't feel the need to pursue. To cultivate self-worth, you must first identify where you've allowed external validation to define your value. Often this starts in subtle ways. Maybe it's the approval of friends or family, the attention of a romantic interest, or even the fleeting affirmation from likes and comments on social media. These external markers of worth can create a false sense of security, but they are inherently unstable. They shift with the opinions, actions, or circumstances of others, leaving you on an emotional roller coaster. True self-worth, on the other hand, is unwavering. It comes from within and is not contingent on anyone else's perception of you. Building self-worth requires you to shift your focus inward. Instead of asking, what do they think of me, or how can I make them like me, start asking, what do I think of myself, and how can I honor my own needs and values? This shift in perspective is transformative. It places you at the center of your life, where you belong. It's not about arrogance or selfishness, it's about recognizing that you are the foundation upon which everything else is built. If you don't value yourself, how can you expect others to? Invest in yourself. This doesn't mean making surface-level changes to impress others. It's about deep, genuine self-improvement. Develop your talents, pursue your passions, and cultivate qualities that bring you joy and fulfillment. When you do this, you're not just building self-worth, you're creating a life that feels meaningful and satisfying. This, in turn, makes you more attractive, not because you're trying to be, but because you exude a sense of completeness and contentment. Another key aspect of self-worth is setting boundaries. When you chase someone, you often compromise your own boundaries in the process. You might tolerate behavior that doesn't align with your values or ignore red flags in the hope of winning their approval. This erodes your self-respect and sends a message to yourself that your needs and standards are less important than their attention. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love. It's a way of saying, I value myself enough to walk away from situations that don't honor my worth. It's important to recognize that self-worth is not about being perfect or having it all together. It's about embracing your imperfections and understanding that they don't diminish your value. In fact, your imperfections make you human, relatable, and real. The pursuit of perfection often leads to a cycle of endless chasing the ideal body, the ideal job, the ideal partner. But perfection is an illusion. Self-worth comes from accepting yourself as you are, while also striving to grow and evolve in ways that feel authentic to you. When you operate from a place of self-worth, you stop chasing and start attracting. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. Instead, you trust that the right people will be drawn to you for who you are, not for what you can offer them or how hard you're willing to work to gain their approval. This shift is liberating. It allows you to show up in relationships from a place of strength and equality rather than desperation or dependency. In life, we often cling to the idea that we can control outcomes, especially in relationships. We believe that if we just say the right things, make the right moves, or show enough interest, we can secure someone's affection or commitment. This belief, while common, is a trap. It creates a cycle of frustration and disappointment because relationships at their core are not about control. They are about connection, mutual respect, and shared energy. When you chase someone, you are attempting to manipulate the natural flow of interaction, forcing a connection that may not be genuine or sustainable. The illusion of control is deeply rooted in the human psyche. It stems from the fear of uncertainty. We crave predictability and stability, especially in matters of the heart. When faced with the possibility of rejection or unreciprocated feelings, we instinctively try to take control of the situation. We send more messages, make more efforts, and convince ourselves that persistence will win the day. But in doing so, we overlook a fundamental truth. No amount of effort can make someone feel something they do not naturally feel. Love and connection cannot be manufactured or coerced. They arise organically when both individuals are aligned. When you try to control a relationship, you shift the focus away from authenticity and toward performance. You start strategizing about how to be more appealing, more agreeable, or more available. This performance may temporarily capture someone's attention, but it rarely creates a lasting bond. Why? Because it is not rooted in who you truly are. Relationships built on performance rather than authenticity are fragile. They lack the foundation of honesty and mutual understanding that is essential for long-term connection. The act of chasing also places undue pressure on the other person. They may feel overwhelmed, cornered, or even manipulated by your efforts to secure their attention. This pressure often leads to resistance rather than reciprocity. People naturally value their autonomy and freedom, and when they sense that these are being compromised, they are more likely to pull away. This is not because they are unkind or indifferent, but because they are responding to the energy of control rather than the energy of connection. To break free from the illusion of control, you must first embrace the concept of surrender. Surrender is not about giving up or resigning yourself to loneliness. It is about letting go of the need to force outcomes. It is about trusting that what is meant for you will come to you, not through relentless pursuit, but through alignment with your authentic self. Surrender requires a shift in mindset from "how can I make this happen?" to "what is truly meant for me." This shift is liberating, because it releases you from the burden of trying to control things that are beyond your power. Surrendering does not mean passivity. It does not mean sitting back and waiting for life to happen to you. Instead, it means focusing your energy on what you can control: your own growth, your own happiness, and your own sense of purpose. When you channel your energy inward rather than outward, you create a sense of stability and fulfillment within yourself. This inner stability is far more attractive than any external effort to chase or persuade someone to be with you. Another key aspect of releasing control is understanding that rejection is not a reflection of your worth. When someone does not reciprocate your feelings or respond to your efforts, it is not because you are unworthy or inadequate. It simply means that the connection was not aligned. Trying to control the outcome by chasing them only prolongs the pain and prevents you from moving forward. Rejection, while painful, is often a redirection towards something better suited to your true self. The illusion of control is also tied to our expectations. We create mental scenarios of how we want things to unfold, and when reality does not match those expectations, we feel disappointed or even desperate. These expectations can become a prison, keeping us locked in a cycle of chasing and striving for something that may not be right for us. Letting go of these expectations frees you to experience life as it truly is, rather than as you wish it to be. It is important to recognize that control is rooted in fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. To overcome this fear, you must cultivate a sense of trust in yourself and in the universe. Trust that you are enough as you are, and trust that the right people will recognize and appreciate your value without you having to chase them. This trust is not blind faith, it is a deep understanding that life operates in its own time and way, often bringing you what you need when you least expect it. When you let go of the illusion of control, you create space for authenticity to flourish. You allow connections to develop naturally, without the pressure of expectations or the strain of performance. This doesn't mean that every relationship will work out, but it does mean that the ones that do will be genuine and fulfilling. Letting go of control is not about losing, it is about gaining freedom from the constant effort of chasing, freedom from the fear of rejection, and freedom to be yourself without compromise. When negative feelings emerge from rejection, heartbreak, or unfulfilled expectations, it's easy to let the mind spiral into overthinking and self-doubt. The natural inclination might be to look outward for solace, to chase after explanations, closure, or even the person who triggered those emotions. But this approach often leaves you feeling even more depleted and unbalanced. True healing and growth in such moments come not from external validation, but from cultivating an anchor within yourself, a profound and unshakable sense of inner peace. Inner peace is not about denying or suppressing your emotions. It is not a stoic detachment from the reality of your feelings, but rather a deep understanding of them. It's about creating a space where you can sit with your emotions, observe them, and let them flow without letting them control you. This practice begins with awareness. When feelings of anger, sadness, or frustration arise, pause and notice them without judgment. Acknowledge the discomfort, the sting of rejection, or the pang of loneliness. By simply recognizing these emotions without labeling them as good or bad, you disarm their power to overwhelm you. Cultivating inner peace starts with shifting your focus inward. Often when negative emotions surface, the instinct is to fixate on external factors, why someone acted a certain way, why they didn't respond as you hoped, or what you could have done differently. This outward focus is exhausting and counterproductive because it places your emotional well-being in the hands of others. By turning inward, you reclaim control over your emotional state. You begin to understand that while you cannot control how others treat you, you can always control how you respond to those experiences. Meditation and mindfulness practices are powerful tools for fostering inner peace. When you meditate, you train your mind to detach from the incessant chatter of worries and fears. You create a sanctuary within yourself where you can retreat when the external world feels chaotic or unkind. Mindfulness, on the other hand, teaches you to be present in the moment. It allows you to experience your emotions fully without becoming consumed by them. When practiced consistently, these techniques build resilience and clarity, enabling you to navigate life's challenges with grace. Inner peace is also about acceptance, not resignation, but a willingness to embrace reality as it is. When someone pulls away, stops communicating, or fails to meet your expectations, it's natural to feel hurt. However, resisting what has happened or trying to force a different outcome only deepens the pain. Acceptance means acknowledging the situation without resistance, understanding that it is part of the natural flow of life. This doesn't mean you have to like what has happened, but it does mean you stop fighting against it. In acceptance, there is freedom, the freedom to let go of what you cannot change and to focus on what you can. Another cornerstone of inner peace is self-compassion. Negative feelings often come with a harsh inner critic that amplifies your pain. You might find yourself thinking, if only I were more attractive, more successful, or more interesting, they wouldn't have left. These thoughts are not only unkind, but also untrue. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend. It's about recognizing that everyone experiences rejection and heartbreak. It's part of being human, and that your worth is not diminished by someone else's actions or choices. Creating an anchor of inner peace also requires setting boundaries not just with others, but with yourself. When negative feelings arise, the mind often indulges in overthinking and rumination, replaying scenarios or imagining what-if situations. This mental loop keeps you trapped in the past or anxious about the future, robbing you of the present moment. Setting boundaries with your mind means gently redirecting your thoughts when they wander into unhelpful territory. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, focus on what you can do right now to care for yourself and move forward. Physical practices like yoga, tai chi, or simply taking a walk in nature can also help ground you in the present and restore a sense of inner calm. These activities connect you to your body and breath, reminding you that you are more than your thoughts and emotions. They anchor you in the here and now, where peace is always accessible if you are willing to look for it. Gratitude is another powerful practice for cultivating inner peace. When negative feelings take hold, they often overshadow all the positive aspects of your life. By consciously shifting your focus to what you are grateful for, whether it's your health, your friends, your passions, or even small, everyday joys, you create a counterbalance to the heaviness of those emotions. Gratitude doesn't negate your pain, but it reminds you that there is more to your life than the current moment of discomfort. Finally, building inner peace is a continuous journey, not a one-time achievement. It requires patience and persistence. There will be moments when negative feelings resurface, and that's okay. Inner peace is not about eliminating all negativity from your life. It's about developing the tools to navigate it with calm and clarity. It's about understanding that peace comes not from external circumstances, but from the strength and serenity you cultivate within yourself. When you anchor yourself in this way, you become unshakable, no matter what storms may come. Growth is a fundamental part of life, yet it often comes in the guise of challenges, heartbreak, and unexpected detours. When you fixate on a specific outcome, particularly in relationships, you inadvertently tether yourself to an attachment that stifles your growth. Seeing every encounter, every disappointment, and every moment of rejection as an opportunity for personal development can transform how you perceive these experiences. Instead of viewing them as setbacks, you can embrace them as stepping stones toward becoming a stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled version of yourself. When someone doesn't reciprocate your feelings or pulls away, it's easy to fall into a pattern of self-blame and rumination. You might replay conversations in your mind, searching for what you could have said differently, or dwell on perceived flaws, believing they were the reason for the disconnection. But this perspective overlooks a crucial truth. These experiences are not about your worth, but about alignment. Not every connection is meant to last, and not every person who enters your life is meant to stay. What matters is how you choose to respond to these moments. Will you let them define you, or will you let them refine you? Growth over attachment begins with shifting your focus from external validation to internal transformation. When you place your happiness and self-esteem in the hands of another person, you give away your power. Their actions, words, or absence can dictate your emotional state, leaving you in a constant state of flux. But when you turn inward and focus on your own development, you reclaim that power. You start to see that the end of one relationship or the absence of reciprocation is not the end of your story, but the beginning of a new chapter. Every encounter holds a lesson, but it's up to you to extract it. Perhaps it's a lesson in patience, teaching you to trust in the timing of your life. Or maybe it's a lesson in self-worth, reminding you to never settle for less than you deserve. Sometimes the lesson is about boundaries, learning to protect your energy and prioritize your needs. These lessons, though often painful, are invaluable. They shape your character, deepen your understanding of yourself, and prepare you for more meaningful connections in the future. Letting go of attachment requires you to release the idea that your happiness depends on a specific outcome or person. This is not an easy task, especially when emotions are involved. The heart clings to what it desires, often ignoring the signs that the attachment may not be healthy or reciprocated. But clinging only prolongs the pain and prevents you from seeing the opportunities for growth that lie ahead. Letting go is an act of courage. It's a declaration that you trust yourself and your journey, even if the path ahead is uncertain. One of the most powerful ways to foster growth over attachment is to cultivate self-awareness. Take the time to reflect on your experiences, not from a place of judgment, but from a place of curiosity. Ask yourself, what did this experience teach me about myself? What patterns do I see in my relationships? How can I use this knowledge to grow? Self-awareness is the foundation of personal development. It allows you to identify areas where you can improve and to celebrate the progress you've already made. Another key aspect of growth is embracing discomfort. Growth often requires stepping outside of your comfort zone, facing your fears, and challenging your limiting beliefs. It's uncomfortable to let go of someone you care about, to confront your insecurities, or to face the possibility of being alone. But within this discomfort lies transformation. Every time you push through these challenging moments, you emerge stronger and more resilient. Focusing on growth also means prioritizing your well-being. This involves taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental health. Exercise, eat well, practice mindfulness, and seek out activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, and distance yourself from those who drain your energy. By prioritizing your well-being, you create a solid foundation for growth, enabling you to navigate life's challenges with strength and grace. It's important to recognize that growth is not a linear process. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when it feels like you're not making progress. But even in these moments, growth is happening. It's in the way you pick yourself up after a fall, the way you choose to keep moving forward despite the pain, and the way you continue to believe in your own potential. Progress is not always visible in the moment, but over time, the changes within you will become undeniable. Focusing on growth over attachment also means embracing the concept of abundance. When you're attached to a specific person or outcome, you operate from a mindset of scarcity, believing that this is your only chance at happiness or love. But the truth is, life is abundant with opportunities for connection, joy, and fulfillment. When you let go of one attachment, you make space for something even better to enter your life, something that aligns with who you are and who you are becoming. Ultimately, growth over attachment is about trusting the process. It's about recognizing that every experience, no matter how painful, has something to teach you. It's about choosing to see these moments not as losses, but as opportunities for transformation. When you focus on growth, you empower yourself to create a life that feels authentic, fulfilling, and aligned with your true self.